I'm Tom Sommerlatte. I'm the Managing Director of the Trust Management Institute and author of a recent book on trust building. Trust has become a challenge in society and in many companies and has a very strong effect on performance and innovativeness. And I would like today to tell you about the relationship between innovativeness and the climate of trust. Many companies try to enhance their innovation performance by formalizing their project management and their innovation portfolio management. The success is, however, often quite limited. Recent investigations have shown that sustainable innovativeness is conditioned by a climate of trust in the organization, and that there are ways of overcoming sources and effects of mistrust, thus unleashing innovative initiatives. I have helped a number of large international companies to manage their product and service leadership and new business approaches in order for them to gain a competitive edge in the market. All along, I have experienced changes in the innovation requirements. While more systematically using technology and R&D as a competitive tool was the name of the game for most companies until the late 1970s, I have helped some of the outperformers in the 80s and 90s, when markets tended to be more saturated, to introduce new approaches to more effectively zeroing in on customer needs and optimizing the race of innovation. Optimizing, with other words, the deployment of their R&D resources in order to effectively respond to customer needs. As innovation became increasingly a top strategic priority in more and more intense global competition, I helped companies integrating their innovation efforts into their business strategy, in fact, often to innovate their entire business model. Thus, one can speak of a sequence of generations of innovation management. There are now clear indications of new challenges that are confronting innovation management. Innovation has always been the result of a complex interaction of many functional areas and people in the organization involved in creating, evaluating, and selecting innovation ideas, responsible for decision processes, for risky resource allocation, and managing development efforts in an environment of uncertainty. I always consciously or unconsciously found that there tended to be a difference between the intellectually convincing best solution and what actually came out of it. It is being said that this is because of the human factor. Since this difference, however, is less and less affordable in the current innovation race, we have to better understand and deal with the human factor. Recent research has shown that there is a strong link between the climate of trust and the innovation performance of companies, and that the climate of trust has in fact deteriorated in many companies over the past years. It is this deterioration that makes it more difficult for them to be innovative in spite of the formal innovation process that they implemented. In fact, the climate of trust has been measured in a number of companies, which were thereby enabled to better deal with the human factor and gradually improve their climate of trust. According to the research done, there are 6 measurable parameters determining largely the climate of trust. 1. The quality of communication within the company in terms of clarity and credibility of commitments made by the leaders, as well as of their openness to arguments and views of others. 2. The reliability of the rules of the game and of values in terms of being adhered to under changing conditions and in terms of room for initiative. 3rd, the soundness of the perspective in terms of the likely future of the company, of job security, and of the ability to master change. 4, the identification of the people with the company in terms of their view of the company's reputation, their feeling of being part of it, and their assurance of playing a constructive role. 5th, the appreciation of the employees by the company's leadership in terms of recognizing their contribution and effort, of fair compensation, and of their ability to progress. And 6, last but not least, the belongingness to a community in terms of the role of team play, the quality of teams, of pursuing a joint objective, and of benefiting from joint success. 3 things have amazed me in recent projects. How homogeneous the evaluation of the climate of trust came out when a sample of people in a company were asked to express their views. How obvious the message and the measures were to be taken in order to improve the climate of trust. And last but not least, how stimulating to the innovation effort the beginnings of an upturn of the climate of trust have proven to be. Thank you very much.